Hello and welcome to my channel. This is all about novice printers like myself learning how to navigate a world of 3D prints. I am the Fluffy Printer, and I will teach you what I know from what I have learned so far through our Orca FlashForge program so we can print off of our FlashForge printers. Now, today I want to talk about supports. Do we need them? Do we not need them? That is the $1,000,000 question. So let's go ahead and bring up what I feel is kind of an obvious one that needs supports. And that is my articulated moose. Now, isn't he such a cute moose? Anyways, as you can see on here, we have the antlers that is quite literally just hovering in midair. This is where we need to talk about needing supports, which we will find over here on the left side under the support tab. Under the support tabs, you'll see enable supports. Once we click on that, all of this starts to become relevant. You're going to see different types of tree supports. Typically, it's under tree, auto, and default. This is going to be the default setting. You can go through every single one. So let's go with the normal, for instance, so I can show you what normal looks like. Once we slice plate, yeah, you're going to see what it looks like. And again, like in all my other videos, you're seeing this in real time. So I'm not missing anything. You can see what's going on, and you can see what needs to happen. As you see, this is normal supports. This is under auto generation. It's all squared off. And pretty much those legs, front of the legs, it's all used there to help hold up the antlers. Let's go to the line type and you can really see the difference. The supports are the green areas. And you can see all the areas underneath, on the sides. All of it is under the support area. Now, let's go back to here. Let's press this orange icon, which reverts. Now we go back to tree. When we look at tree, you're going to see what tree looks like. It literally looks like a bunch of branches coming off of a tree, like you would on the outside. We just got to wait for all of this to pop up. And we're done. Now here's the tree supports. The reason why I like the tree supports more is that you won't see any supports getting onto the model itself. So it needed to get all of this held up, but there's nothing here on these legs anymore. But you see, it still needs supports underneath. But why would it need that many supports underneath? Well, this is where the fun part begins. We go back to prepare. Let's keep it on the tree and keep it on default. We'll go further into this later on in a different video, but for now, let's keep it on our basics. We need to worry about only on the build plate. Most of the time, you're going to have this checked because you're going to see all of this gray space right here. It's all empty space, which makes it great for using supports and makes it easier for taking your supports to come off. Once we click on this, the tree supports are going to change a little bit. Not by much, but it's very minuscule amounts. It's only when you start changing the style. But if you notice, go back to here, look at our line type. We still have all of these supports, which is good. It's going to be used to help hold this model hold this model up while it prints. Now, when we come down to the advanced area on here, this is where I like to start changing my settings so I can have easy removal of the 3 supports. You have all of this. You have a distance between the top of the support and the bottom of the model of which it's holding. I usually like to keep this at a 0.275. The top Z distance determines what's between the top of it and the bottom of it's holding up. Then you have bottom Z distance. Bottom Z distance we're not too worried about because that is actually down here. So it would be like holding it right on top of this leg. We don't need it on top of the leg, so we're not too worried about it. You have the base pattern, which is typical on how everything is done. You can change that around to however you want. You can keep it hollow, lighting, honeycomb, rectangular. It doesn't. I keep it as a rectangular. Keep it as that, simply because it helps actually make the removal of the supports a little bit easier. But the pattern angle, I love to change it. I have found that changing this to a 45 degrees has actually made removing these supports so much easier. But now here's the biggest trick of them all. A lot of people tend to leave the top surface layers alone. This is where we start to have a little issues on it just keeping some of that support attached to the model. We change this to 5 layers instead. You're going to find that the supports just come off or even stick on your build plate. And I have found that it does that. Now, one of the other things is that we usually find on our supports is that it ends up sticking next to the model right here while it's being built. Well, there's a good thing on this because we could change that around to the XY distance. Now remember, our X and Y is the green and red right here, which is X and Y. So, instead, I like to, if I look at these supports and it's touching, I like to change this to a 0.6. A 0.6 keeps it just enough away from it, but it also gives it the necessary support it still needs. And then once it is done, you're going to find that your supports are going to be so much cleaner to come off. Now, if you have any questions or concerns, leave a comment down below. I need to know what you guys are wondering so I can help you guys with more videos. So, leave a comment, leave a like. Who knows? We all learned something today. And remember, none of this is sponsored. This is all me learning. You learning. That way we can all do this together. And now our supports are set up. So once we look at our line type, we can go through and look at each layer. When we get to the very top of it, you're going to start seeing how much those supports have changed. We now have 5 layers for this top support, which is now going to help hold the antlers so much easier, and the supports are going to come off so much cleaner. So, there's the big ones. Now let's talk about the little ones. So let's find a new one. Let's start a new project. Let's say no. I'm going to add. I'm going to go to my arts, and I'm going to go to my dragon here that I've got. I already have it set. I can change that around. Discard all the settings. Okay. Here is the fun one that I've been slowly trying to work on. If you notice, look at the amount of different types that there are. Here is where your supports are going to have to come different. I'm going to change the filament to a gray. That way you guys can see what's going on. Now it's a little easier to see. If you notice, look at all the overhangs just on the teeth alone right here and the chin. You've got some overhangs right here, but they're over the model. What do we do about that? Well, when we hit enable support, this is where you can't be using the on the build plates. On the build plate will only keep it right here, so none of this will be supported, which is not a good thing we want. We need to keep it supported. So we make sure we keep it there. Keeping the small overhangs is fine, but we need to keep this unchecked. But as for everything else, we can still change everything up to 275 for the top Z distance. But the bottom Z distance, this is where we have to change that as well to help with easier support removal. We still change our patterning of the 45 and our top surface layers to 5. But our bottom, we should also be changing that to 5. For easy removal, it still keeps it on the build plate, it still keeps it everything supported, but it also keeps it everything well out, supported, and removed a lot easier. Along with the XY distance, let's go ahead and change this also to a 0.6. And now we're going even more. Then you have tip diameters, tree support, branches distance. We can just leave these alone. We'll go dive deeper into that later on, but right now, let's just not touch this. Let's ignore this like it wasn't even there. All right. Once we click on the slice to plate, we're going to see everything happen again. I want to show you what this looks like before we click on the on build plate only. That way you can see why you can't have that checked. While we leave everything here alone, this is going to get done. Got that? Oh, I didn't want to sneeze on camera. Oh. Let's see here. Almost about done. Alright. Let's go ahead and hide that so we can't see it all. Now if you notice, you can see all the supports here. All the supports are green. Notice how it's on the object as well, which is actually a good thing because it's going to help hold all of this up. Got it underneath the teeth here, everywhere. Which is why we need to make sure we change these settings up a lot so we can make this easy to remove. Now, remember this picture. Remember how it looks. Let's go ahead and click on build plate only. Once you get that, you're going to see how much this support has changed drastically. There we go. Look how much I changed. Look how much. And that is bad. All of this has so much negative space. All of this has so much large overhangs. It needs to have the supports. We build this, all of a sudden we have a failed print, and we don't want a failed print. So, that's why we use all of our supports here. Make sure we use it properly. Once you slice this again, you're going to see the supports go back to the way they were. So again, 2 supports, not 2 supports. That is the million-dollar question. Finding out the supports begin here in the program first. It doesn't begin on the printer. It begins here. Because you're not always going to get a warning, even with the supports. Use your best common judgment to determine if you need the supports here or not. This needs the supports in order to come out really good the way we want. So, hope this video has helped. Again, I am the Fluffy Printer. I am a novice at printing. And please, enjoy the rest of your day and happy printing.